really well.
She'll say anything to get her to give me a chicken finger, see?
Oh,
What a
We are,
woman.
we
they
are
smell
live.
really good too.
We are live. Sorry if you didn't hear me.
No worries. I did let the people at the Legion know that council's kind of addicted to the Tuesday night fish and chicken fingers. Yeah. Well, welcome everyone to the Corporation of the Township of Bonnechere Valley. This is our regular council meeting on Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. It is 5:32 p.m. and we are meeting in council chambers and by Zoom, and I'm calling this meeting to order. Are there any additions to the agenda?
Nope.
Seeing none, I have a resolution dated the 16th day of June, 2026, that the agenda be accepted as presented. May I have a mover and seconder, please? Moved by Meredith, second by Tracy. Is there any pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? I see none. As we gather this afternoon, we acknowledge on behalf of this council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. We are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. And this afternoon, okay, I've got a resolution dated the 16th day of June, 2026, that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on June 2nd, 2026, as presented or amended, be hereby adopted. May I have a mover and seconder to get it on the floor, please? Moved by John, seconded by Meredith. Were there any errors or omissions? I see none. All in favor? Thank you, council. We have no delegates this afternoon. Reports have been filed. I have a resolution dated the 16th day of June, 2026, whereas direction has been given to staff. Now be it resolved that the correspondence be filed. May I have a mover and seconder, please? Moved by Tracy, seconded by John. Anything further on correspondence? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you, council. Was there anything on the check register or board report? I see none. We will move on to resolutions. I have a resolution dated the 16th day of June, 2026, whereas highways 11 and 17, I've got 17 on the brain, are critical transportation corridors supporting national trade, tourism, emergency response, and economic development. And whereas Ontario residents, travelers, commercial drivers, and emergency services rely on safe and accessible year-round highway infrastructure. And whereas many stretches of highways 11 and 17 lack sufficient rest areas, washroom facilities, truck parking, warming centers, fuel access, and safe pull-off locations. And whereas inadequate rest stop infrastructure contributes to driver fatigue, safety concerns, limited accessibility, and challenges for tourism and commercial transportation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Bonnechere Valley calls upon the Government of Ontario and the Government of Canada to prioritize the development of new and upgraded highway rest stops and traveler infrastructure along highways 11 and 17. And be it further resolved, such infrastructure include year-round washrooms, safe parking areas, commercial truck parking, warming shelters, electric vehicle charging stations, fuel access, tourism information, and improved emergency communication services where feasible. And be it further resolved that this resolution be circulated to the Prime Minister of Canada, Premier of Ontario, Phenom Noma, Amo Roma, MPP Billy Deneau, and MP Cheryl Gallant. May I have a mover and seconder, please? Moved by Meredith, second by John. Anything further? All in favor? Thank you, council. I have a resolution dated the 16th day of June, 2026, whereas municipal fire services in Ontario operate under legislative authority established by the province through statutes, regulations, codes, and prescribed standards governing training, equipment, certification, inspection, and operational requirements. And whereas municipalities are responsible for implementing and maintaining compliance within these provincially mandated requirements, primarily through local property taxation. And whereas current provincial fire service grant programs are available to both full-time and volunteer departments across Ontario and are distributed through competitive application processes that may not fully reflect the differing financial and administrative capacities of urban and rural municipalities, highlighting the need for a more balanced approach to funding that supports all fire services equitably. And whereas volunteer firefighters represent approximately 70 to 75% of firefighters in Ontario, protecting the majority of communities across the province, and particularly in rural areas, are frequently the first emergency responders to arrive on scene ahead of other emergency services. And whereas other provincially regulated emergency services receive stable and predictable provincial funding contributions or cost sharing arrangements, and whereas the absence of a comparable and stable funding model for fire services creates a structural imbalance between provincial regulatory authority and municipal financial responsibility. And whereas reliance on competitive funding creates budget uncertainty, limits long-term financial planning, and may not reflect the actual operational needs of fire services, contributing to instability, reduced preparedness, and the reduction of services within a critical emergency response sector. And whereas stable and predictable funding is essential to maintain emergency preparedness, firefighter safety, service sustainability, and equitable protection for residents, regardless of municipal size or tax base. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Council of the Township of Bonnechere Valley respectfully calls upon the province of Ontario to transition the current practice of competitive provincial fire service grant programs into a permanent, stable, and predictable, non-competitive provincial funding program that supports municipalities in meeting provincially legislated fire protection requirements. And further, that this funding be structured to provide equitable and predictable annual support for operational residents and training costs associated with volunteer, composite, and full-time fire departments across Ontario. And further, that the annual value of this funding be reviewed and adjusted to more appropriately reflect the level of provincial funding support currently provided to other provincially regulated emergency services. And further, that this resolution be circulated to the Honorable Michael Kersner, Ministry of the Solicitor General, Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs, Ontario Professional Firefighters Association, Ontario Volunteer Firefighters Association, AMO, Roma, and MPP Billy Deneau. They have a mover and seconder, please. Moved by Meredith, seconded by John. All in favor? And that passes. Thank you, Council. We have now closed this afternoon. I have a resolution dated the 16th day of June, 2026, that bylaw 2026-037, being a bylaw to adopt road standards for municipal highways, and bylaw 2026-038, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council, be read a first time, be deemed read a second time, be deemed read a third time, and passed. They have a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Tracy, seconded by Meredith. All in favor? Thank you, Council. And finally, I have a resolution dated the 16th day of June, 2026, that the council meeting be adjourned at 5:40 p.m. I have a mover and seconder, please. Moved by Meredith, seconded by John. All in favor? Thank you, Council. Good work today. Thank you.